Okay, stand by the drive.
So morning everybody, welcome to what we call the flight deck here at Land Rover BAR. As Ben pulled back the curtains this morning, he said, well, it is a water sport, which clearly we can all see when we look outside these windows. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here today. I know we've got several of our sponsors here, representatives from Land Rover. Also, I know that Peter Cruddace is in the room from CMC, and of course, Wendy Schmidt from 11th Hour Racing. Happy birthday, Wendy. Happy birthday, Wendy. I was never going to forget it. Alongside me as well is Matt Cornwell, who's one of our sailors. He's going to be talking about the nuts and bolts of what you're going to be seeing later on today on the water in this America's Cup World Series. Before he does that, though, we're just going to show you how we got here, because it has been quite a ride over the last year and a half. The America's Cup left British waters in 1851, and we've never seen it since. The Americans, Australians, Swiss and Kiwis have all had their taste of America's Cup victory. It's now our time to take back the trophy and defend it on the waters where it all began. We're in a new era of yacht racing. We're not sailing anymore, we're flying. In just 1 year, Land Rover BAR have constructed a 72,000 square foot team HQ. That will be home to an interactive visitors and education centre with royal patronage from the Duchess of Cambridge. We have a team of highly skilled staff and apprentices to design, build and race the winning boat come 2017. While we are set on becoming the second team in history to win the America's Cup as a first-time challenger, we've been set up as a commercially successful sports team to look beyond 2017. The team are looking to raise the bar, with the support of our sustainability partner 11th Hour Racing, to become a truly sustainable business and lead the way by educating and inspiring younger generations who will then drive sustainability forward instinctively. So we urge you to get behind Land Rover BAR and show your support in Portsmouth in the first step to bringing the Cup home. So as you can see, it has been quite a journey, and we've arrived here finally at the America's Cup World Series event weekend here in Portsmouth. So yesterday was the first race day. I don't know if any of you were able to catch it. Those of you who would have been here would have been as excited as the rest of us with what was delivered. Here's exactly what happened yesterday for those of you who aren't aware.
Yesterday, Portsmouth turned it on. The sun, wind and the crowds were out to support Land Rover BAR's first step to victory in the 35th America's Cup. Tricky conditions had everyone on the edge of their seats in race one. Ben and his team worked tirelessly to claw their way back through the fleet with great boat handling skills to take home the first race.
And Ainslie and crew, their first debut, and they have done it, winning race number one at Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series.
Race two looked good with a fantastic start, and the team rounded the first mark clear ahead. The decision to jibe early didn't pay off, and again they had to work their way through the fleet to chase Emirates Team New Zealand all the way to the finish line. They secured a second place, taking them into the top spot, just 1 point clear of their Antipodean rivals going into today's racing.
So yesterday, cat flap, practically perfect in every way.
It was a... Oh, here we go. It was a funny old day yesterday. I mean, both races we really had to battle back. But it was great. I mean, you sort of felt the longer the races were going to go on, the better we were going to do. So, you know, we were going fast, sailing well. So, yeah, really happy with that.
And how were the guys preparing for the first race of the day? Because, I mean, to those of us watching, we're not entirely sure what we're picking up on. But I know certainly after the start, Ben took a different course, didn't he, to the other teams?
Yeah, that happened a couple of times, but it was so shifty out there. The breeze was coming off the land, which is sort of the worst condition for shifts in the breeze. And because the spectator fleet's so close to the course, it's really hard to see. The guys are saying they couldn't see the shifts, they couldn't see where the puffs are coming from. So, you know, it was a little bit of a gamble every time, and some of those paid off and some didn't.
And what about heading into race two as well? That returned a second spot?
Yeah, that did, and you know, one point we were sort of firmly rooted in the bottom three, So yeah, once again they showed great resilience to battle back to get a solid second place, and very, very happy with the first and second. We'd have taken that at the start of the day.
Yeah, quite. And one thing Freddie, one of the sailors, was pointing out to me yesterday when he came back was he just couldn't get over the support that was there around Southsea and actually all the way down Portsmouth. The support's been fantastic, hasn't it? Especially yesterday.
Yeah, it's been excellent. I mean, you could even hear it on the TV. You could hear the people cheering, certainly as we went across the finish line in the first race with a bullet. It's great. This is our new home. We've only been here for a few weeks now, really, but we're so excited to be here and having this event right at the start of it and sort of getting that public support. I mean, it's just fantastic for us.
So the conditions, completely different ball game to what they were yesterday. Earlier on this morning, I said to Ben, what happened the last time you raced, or have you ever raced in conditions that have been like this? He said, we haven't raced in conditions like this. We have had practice in conditions like this. He said, do you want me to show you something? I said, well, come on then, show me. He said, and the email that he showed me, the top of it said, don't tell the wife. Here's why. Now you see why it said don't tell the wife. We'll actually slow it down for you as well, I think. It's just the most frightening sight. Let's have a look at the slow-mo version. Here we go. All looks to be going all right.
How quick was CJ to grab the tiller there? I've got it. I've got it.
Seriously. I mean, so Ben flew like that through the boat because he had nothing to hang on to, right? He's just hanging on to the tiller.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the helmsman is the one guy who hasn't really got anything solid to hold on to. So yeah.
Okay. So in terms of racing today, I mean, we are talking about, I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? We are talking about different conditions out there. How is that going to affect their mindset, their approach, what they do on the boat?
Yeah, well, I was having breakfast with some of the guys earlier, and obviously it's really big on their minds. I mean, we're right at the top end. If hopefully we do sail today, it's literally on the limit. And so they're nervous about it. We haven't done a whole lot of sailing in these conditions in this boat. So, yeah, they're a little bit nervous about it. But I think the good thing is, of all the teams, we probably have done more in these kind of conditions. So, it does play into our hands a little bit. But the one thing we can't have and we don't want today is any kind of boat breakages or some sort of disaster, a crash, something like that would take us out. Because avoiding that, I think we're in really good shape.
These are effectively flying spacecraft, aren't they? I mean, when they get up and they foil, they look like flying machines as opposed to sailing boats. This is the team then that's going to take on the rest of the field today. Obviously, you'll know Ben, the skipper, but just talk us through the rest of the boys, Cat Flap.
Let's see, we got, Ben very well. Paul CJ, the wing trimmer, very talented technical sailor. He's got a degree in yacht design as well, so he really helps the designers a lot. Annie McLean, our reserve sailor, who's just an electronic genius too. A lot of these guys have got a great second string in their bow. Giles Scott, who's just winning everything in the Finn Olympic class right now and is probably our biggest gold medal hope for Rio. Real talent. I think Ben actually would have had a lot of competition to try and even get into the Olympics next time with Giles there. So, it's probably good that he's here with us. Freddie Carr, super nice guy, loves the spotlight, but also super fit. He's shed about 15 kilos in the last few months, and you'd hardly recognize him. He's prison ripped now. He's also sort of the comedian on board. Terrible hygiene too, but we won't go into that. Nick Hutton, smiling like a complete loon there. Really talented sailor again, could probably do every position on the boat very well. And another sort of physical beast. So yeah, plenty of talent, plenty of physical attributes, and yeah, really solid team.
Just give an idea to people of how physically fit and how physically demanding it is being on one of these boats. What you need to do as a team to just be fit enough to get on one and actually sail it for a decent result.
Yeah, the most physical boats I've ever sailed on, and I mean that seriously. They're really, really hard work, and that's actually why the races are so short, and we only do the two a day, because actually you really couldn't do much more than that. You'd start making mistakes, and they wouldn't look great. But we've been training probably as hard as anyone out there, and I'd say probably harder. We've got our drill sergeant Ben Williams, who's our instructor, and he just breaks our balls. he's a hard man.
He's ex-SAS. That should say it all.
I've never had so much pain in my life since I met that man. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship. But he's got us in great shape. We were saying the other day we should have taken pictures of us all a few months ago to even how we are now, let alone the end of the campaign. We're all, looking a lot more lean and buff. Yes,
Yeah,
ripped.
absolutely cat flap. So in terms of the boat they're racing on this weekend for the America's Cup World Series, it's called the AC45F. Here's a more detailed look at it.
This is the AC45F, the boat we'll be using in the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series. It's 45 foot long, and we use these dagger foils to fly it out of the water. This fixed wing lets us go over 40 miles an hour. Let me show you around the boat. These are the hulls, made of carbon fibre, really strong but really lightweight. In an ideal world, these hulls would never touch the water, but it's what keeps us afloat when we're not foiling. This is the all-important dagger foil. The main bit of the foil is underneath me, and that's the bit that we lower into the water and pops us out of the water to get foiling at high speeds. This is the biggest power source on the boat. This is our engine, the rigid wing sail. I'm now on the bow of the boat where our other power sources sit. Our jib, which stays up the whole time, and our Code Zero that we pull up especially for downwind speed. So there you have it, our AC45F, our one design boat that will be racing in Portsmouth, Gothenburg and Bermuda later this year.
This must be a complete dream come true, mustn't it, to be able to race on these boats in front of a home crowd, because they're so exhilarating, aren't they?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, I think everything about this is a dream come true right from the outset. I mean, you know, I've wanted to be in a team like this my whole sailing career. You know, Team New Zealand pops up there behind you as one of the competitors. It's someone, they've always had this fantastic team in my sailing career. You know, they've always sailed at the top level with some great guys, and I always wished we had something like that. And we've got that now. We've finally got that team. And I really hope we can create some sort of legacy here in the America's Cup and in yacht racing.
That's nice to see, isn't it? We're top of the leaderboard after day one. That feels pretty good. Total of 19 points from our two races that we took part in yesterday, a first and a second spot, as we were saying earlier. But today it means actually so much more, because we're talking about double points, aren't we, in both of the races?
Yeah, that's right. Today's Super Sunday. It's the big day. So, you know, yesterday was great to sort of go into that and come out with it, solid results for the confidence, but actually today's the biggie.
Okay, what about who else you're looking out for on the racetrack then? There we go. There's some breakdowns of what the scoring structure is in terms of this America's Cup World Series. Because it all builds up and points win prizes, and it all means something later on, doesn't it, as far as the Challenger Series is concerned, and then the America's Cup proper in Bermuda in 2017.
That's right. We're all looking for that one spot in the final against Oracle Team USA. There's only one spot available.
So to be clear, they're already in.
They're
the
already
defenders,
in the final.
They're already there.
That's how we do it, right or wrong. It's always been that way in the America's Cup. That's been that way for over 160 years now. So we like to keep it that way.
Who else? Who else is particularly dangerous in that group?
Like I said, Team New Zealand, always strong, always strong. I've lost to them far too many times in my sailing career. Yeah, Oracle. So, you know, those guys are second and third. There's no surprises there. I guess the big surprise is Artemis. We thought, you know, they'd come here strong. And 4 of their 5 sailors have won Olympic gold medals. I mean,
wow.
they're not short on talent.
Yeah.
But they really struggled out there yesterday.
The course, as far as that's concerned, that's pretty demanding as well. We're going to look at that in some more detail in a moment, but I think we're going to hand down to Mark Chisnell now, our reporter, who is down at the Portsmouth Historic Dockyard, because, Mark, I understand a very special guest is making an appearance, 2 very special guests are making an appearance anytime now.
Good morning, Georgie. Yes, I'm down here at the Historic Dockyard, where, as you can see, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have just arrived behind me. The weather is keeping everyone on their toes this morning. The plans have changed. They were originally going to meet the teams down here, but that has now been pushed back because the racing's been brought forward. So they'll meet the sailors, the athletes, at 2:30 after the racing is over. They are still meeting the local people, many of the people that have made this event actually happen, and we've been brought inside the Emirates Team New Zealand tent because the weather's so inclement outside. It was unfortunate. Hopefully the public could have seen all this going on with them meeting the sailors, but as it is, this is a little bit more private affair. We have a few people here. Admiral Jonathan Woodcock, he's the 2nd Sea Lord of the Royal Navy. Commander Jeremy Rigby, he's the Naval Base Commander, and it's his territory that we're very much on here. Councillor Donna Jones is here, the leader of Portsmouth City Council, the Lord Mayor of Portsmouth, and Dr. Harvey Schiller, the Commercial Commissioner of the America's Cup Authority. Our own Commodore of the Royal Yacht Squadron, Christopher Sharples, is here, and of course Sir Keith Mills, one of the investors and shareholders with Land Rover BAR. The Duchess will be here for a little while, and then she'll be moving down across to the base back in Canberra, where she'll have the opportunity to meet more members of the team and see the fantastic new facility that you're all now aware of. I'm Mark Chisnell, and I'm handing back now to Georgie back on the flight deck.
Mark, thank you. It does really mean something, doesn't it, to people to have the Duchess of Cambridge as our royal patron of the 1851 Trust, which is the charitable arm of what we're doing here with the team.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have her. She's such a popular person.
And she loves sailing.
She seems to love sailing,
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah.
Freddie had her on a grinding machine, didn't he, not so long ago?
Yeah, while she was pregnant, which may not have been a good idea. I think everything worked out okay. But yeah.
Okay. Shall we show you this course of ours that they're going to be racing on today? Because pretty demanding yesterday, but in these conditions it may be even more troublesome. Let's take a look at the Portsmouth racecourse.
Okay, so this is the opening event of the Louis Vuitton America's Cup World Series. The racing will be carried out just off South Sea seafront, between the South Sea Castle and Spitsand Fort. And the racing will literally be within 50 metres of the shore.
The start. The 6-boat fleet will be fighting for position here on the start line. It's only just wide enough to fit all the boats. It's going to be tight. The boats will accelerate to speeds of 40 miles an hour within seconds. From the start, it's just 300 to 400 metres to the first turning mark. Leg 2 onto the first downwind where the wind's behind them. This is an important part of the race. Boat handling is very tough here, how they get the boats through the manoeuvres. Okay, heading on to leg 3, they can choose the either mark. After a clean mark rounding, the crew will be trying to stay on their foils for as long as possible. But as they go into the wind, the speed will decrease and they'll come down onto one hull. Leg 3, they're sailing back up into the wind. It's a slower point of sailing. Onto leg 4, the wind is behind them. The boats will be straight up onto the foils, racing down the course for the final downwind leg of the race. Okay, in a 1-lap course, the boats will be heading to the finish here for the final turning mark. So it's going to be important to cover the opposition, to keep ahead of them and to try and stop them passing like a Formula 1 driver would, blocking any attacks. At the final gate, there's a left turn to the finish, which is another high-speed leg. If the boats can keep on their foils, then they'll be still at 30 or 40 miles an hour, and they'll be hitting that finish at speed right in front of the crowds on the South Sea Common.
Now, they did all of that yesterday with 2 guest racers on board in the form of Charles Dunstan, our chairman, and also Simon Le Bon, our rock star supporter. But Wendy, could I ask you to just come up here just very, very briefly, because Wendy on Thursday was on the Parade of Sail with myself. We were both clinging on for dear life. And then Wendy took part in a practice race, didn't you, as a guest racer? So could I just ask you how that felt?
I describe it as being on the edge of terror and thrilling excitement. You're just right on the edge. And the only really comforting thing that I can tell you is when I look back at Ben, this is what I see. It's very calm. You can't get really scared when you look at that. You think, okay.
He's a bit like a shark, isn't he? He's
Totally.
Complete killer instinct.
Totally that.
He's not like that off the water. He's just like that on it.
You heard just a moment ago the sound. Did you get a little bit of that at the end of that video?
How noisy is it?
It's beautiful. It's a harmonic. It's very high, different pitches, and they change. It's like listening to sort of the music of the stars or something. It feels very otherworldly.
But how special is it as well for you to be here and for you to get a chance to get out on that boat? Because you've been such a great support for us in terms of our sustainability and trying to keep on track with all that.
Well, I've said to people, if you get a chance to get on one of these boats, go, because you will never be the same. It's absolutely thrilling.
Well, Cat Flap, you've had a chance to be on the boat many an occasion. Final thoughts ahead of race day. How do you see the boys heading into the final 2 races today?
Today would not be the day to get on the boat as a guest. But, with that in mind, it is a completely different day today. It's top end. There is a chance we won't race, I'll be honest with you. Hopefully we do, because I think it will pay.
So it's that much on the edge?
I think it is. I mean, one respect, if we don't race, we win. But I sincerely hope we do race, because I think we'll do well. Barring any disasters, I think we're great in the breeze. But, hopefully everyone's okay out there if we do race, there's no incidents.
Okay, great. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping as well. I think the racing starts at midday now. It's been brought forward. So anyone who's going to be out on the water, myself included, there will be an announcement and you'll be asked to come to the front of this flight deck area and you'll be kitted out and everything else. And I'm sure it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous day. If you are staying here, lunch is going to be served as well at the Land Rover BAR. Food's fabulous, so enjoy that. And have just a really, really fantastic, fantastic day today. And good luck to the boys. Bring it home.
Okay,